Welcome back, students, to my channel. Okay, so over here in this chapter, let me tell you a story of mine. Okay, this chapter is basically on crop production and management, but you know what? There is a really long story going on with this chapter, and I would like to share my experience with you. Okay, so in the school where I teach students, I have seen that there are two students, okay, who are really keen to know each and everything in 1 minute, or you can say in a one class. But it's not possible for me because not every child is as keen as them. Okay, let me reveal their name first. So they are Paheli and Bujo. I know, this is a name taken from NCRT, but what can we do? It's their parents' choice. So these both are brothers and sisters, siblings. Okay, so Paheli and Bujo told me that once they went to their uncle's house during summer vacation, and this uncle is a farmer. So one day they saw some tools like khurpi, sickle, shovel, plow, etc. in the field. We're gonna discuss about these in the later part of the story. So you can take it as a story, and you know what? How does the stories are listened? Stories are listened when you sit back, relax, and then finally let the world be free of us. So Bujo asked that I want to know where and how we use these tools. So before I tell you this and reveal this answer, let me tell you or revise you or remind you that you have learned that all living organisms require food, right? And plants can make their food themselves. Can you recall how green plants synthesize their own food? Alright, I know. Most of you are probably with answers, but do write in the comment section below, okay? I'll be checking your answers, and then maybe if I could, then I would be replying to your answers. Now, animals, including humans, cannot make their own food. So, where do animals get their food from? Okay, that's a tricky question for you. So, Buja then asked me that, but first of all, why do we have to eat food? Now, Paheli was prompting questions on me, and Buja also started prompting questions on me, and I got, oh my god, what to do? I have no choice to answer them. So I said, okay, sit back and let me reveal you the answers. I said to them that you already know that energy from the food is utilized by organisms for carrying out their various body functions, such as we need to have food for digestion, respiration, and excretion. We get our food from plants or animals or both. Okay, so Bujo then said that since we all need food, how can we provide food to a large number of people in our country? Okay, so Paheli answered, oh, I know, she said, food has to be produced on a large scale. I say that is a pretty much a straightforward answer. Now, let me just tell you that what does this mean? So, in order to provide food for a large population, regular production or proper management and distribution is necessary. Okay, so this is a really necessary key features. Let me write it for you. So, in order to provide large population, factors are you need to have actually. Let me write it with black. So, regular production should be there. Regular production. Okay, then what else that we have is proper management. I hope the writing is good for you. Okay, and then lastly we have distribution, and these all are really necessary, okay, if you ask me, because without this you are not able to you're not able to provide food for a large population. Like India, if you see, it has a very large population, and at least the second highest uh, country in the wide range of population and diversity, and cultures, religions, and all. Now we have agriculture practices, so let me move on to the next one. So let me write about agricultural practices which will be helpful for you. So let me write it with some food color. Okay, so let's have that color. Now we have agricultural practices, and you know what, let me tell you something more. Let me tell you a short quick revision from history. I can remember from my history book that till 10,000 BCE people were nomadic, as you all know, and you might have written about this, or you might have also learned about this. So they were wandering in groups from place to place in search of food and shelter. They ate raw fruits and vegetables and started hunting animals for food. So where that's the point where we actually became non-vegetarians, or you can say omnivorous, okay, or carnivorous. Later they could cultivate land and produce rice, wheat, and other food crops. Thus was born agriculture. So this is a short quick historical story about agriculture, that how did it actually was born and how it came to effect eventually. So you know what, these nomadic people saw that, in a place near a river. Suppose this is a river that I am drawing right now, and this is a place. They saw that many plants could grow. See, plants could grow, grass would grow, and they also saw that many fruits and vegetables grow near rivers. And they were, keen humans, like little twinklings. We need to know each and everything. If you see, so these were their plants and trees and shrubs and herbs and every type that you want, that was there. And they saw that the fruits and the flowers flourished really well when they were near a water source, or rivers. So that's why they shifted to places where rivers were situated. And you know what happened is, they eventually started to grow these all fruits, wheat, cereals, and all. And eventually, when the time passed, about, 10 years, and 10 years or so, humans were perfect on agriculture, and hence agriculture was born. Now let me tell you something more interesting fact. When plants, okay, when plants or of the same kind are cultivated. So this is one of the answers of one of the questions that I'll be asking you ahead. So you need to listen to this really, really carefully, okay, and write your answers in the chat as quickly as you can. Okay, let me check your typing speed actually. So when plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. Okay, and for example, if you can take crop of wheat, means that all of the plants grown in a field are that of wheat. Okay, or you already know that crops are of different types, like cereals, vegetables, and fruits, etc., etc. Now these can be classified on the basis of the season in which they grow. So India is a vast country, and as you know, climatic conditions like temperature, humidity, and rainfall vary from one region to another. Now we have come on geography. So accordingly, there is a rich variety of crops grown in India. Okay, so different parts of the country. Now, despite this diversity, two broad cropping patterns can be identified. These are, okay. So two broad categories. So you already know. Okay, two broad categories. I know that you already know this, but let me just make you revisit them. First up is kharif crops. So kharif crops will be somewhere between, that is grown in June to September. Okay, and second one will be rabi crops. This I know that you already know. Okay, now this is grown from October to March. Okay, now there is one, you know, one correction I would like to make. September is a really weak month for kharif crops, or you can say that September is the month in which kharif crops rarely grow. So I would write August. And this, the third type that I'm going to reveal in front of you is Zaid crops. Now you know what, Zaid crops are grown in only September, in between of kharif crops and rabi crops. So examples of kharif crops would be, you can write paddy. Paddy means rice, and maize. And you know what, why paddy is grown in kharif crops? Because June to August is a time period when monsoon comes in India. That's why. Okay, and now the rainy seasons in India is generally from June to September. Okay, that's why. Now we have soya bean as well, soya bean, groundnut, and more. Okay, and cotton even. But let's not talk too much about kharif crops. Let's jump on to rabi crops. We have wheat, gram, pea. The most popular examples are wheat, gram, pea. You can write more, of course, that is mustard or linseed. I don't know that you have heard about linseed, but yeah, they are a type of rabi crops. And zaid crops, you can say pathua, saag. Well, they start in the season, but okay, you can say that's a rabi crop. But saag generally starts from September only. Saag and etc. All the Punjabi foods, main Punjabi foods are. Okay, let me just show you the screen again. You can write, and when you're done, you can write in the chat. Okay, then not waiting for the chat, waiting for 10 seconds to complete. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You may pause the video if you need more time. I am moving on. Okay, and if you are feeling thirsty, you may drink your water. There's a quick 5-second break for you all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, so the break is over. Now let's continue resume our learning. Okay, so we'll be having more episodes for the same. This is only episode 1. Okay, we'll be meeting you very soon in the next episodes. So let me just finish off with one more part of this chapter, and then we'll be ending with the class. Okay, I don't want the video to be too long because I need everything to be clear to you, and hence I make very long videos. Okay, so basic practice of crop production. Let me just give you the names of basic practices of crop production. Okay, so okay, let me just end over here. The video is getting really boring now. I can see many people are leaving, so let's end with the class. The time is up. Sorry friends, sorry students actually, but we'll be meeting very soon with another episode, Ep 2 of crop production and management. Till then, see ya, bye. This is Prisha Jaggi signing off from here.